Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Stugotz, we have grid of death controversy.
What happened?
I'm supposed to do the Robert Smith today. The Robert Smith is half Robert Smith of The Cure, half Robert Smith, former Vikings running back.
Okay.
And Mike Ryan handed me a jersey when I got in. And the first thing I said to him was, that is way too small. And I am all for, I chose the Robert Smith on the grid of death specifically because I'm all for looking ridiculous. But it's deeply uncomfortable to have something that tight on your body for 4 hours.
I understand.
And I wasn't choosing. There are two kinds of punishments on the grid of death, right? There are the ones that you're choosing discomfort or you're choosing to look ridiculous.
Yes.
There aren't very many where you're choosing to do both.
Correct. Now, Mike is wearing the jersey currently, and it's a little bit snug on Mike, so I can't imagine how it fit on Dan.
Mike, you saw it. I put it on. I put it on for you because you were questioning. You're like, it's the only one on the entire internet. I can't find any more.
Well, no, what I wanted was an actual Robert Smith authentic jersey. I've stood next to Robert Smith. He's actually pretty big for the position. So this is actually what I'm wearing right now. While it is snug on me, this is actually the jersey Robert Smith, who's not a small man, actually wore. And he actually wore this with full football pads on underneath.
How did that go over my shoulders? You just tell me. Never mind my stomach. How did it go over my shoulders? You tell.
Your shoulders were pretty broad, but I didn't anticipate them being broader than Robert Smith while wearing football pads.
How did it go over my chest?
Barely. You look like Chris Hovan.
I look like Ezekiel Elliott. Just in jersey.
I need to see
just
this.
In jersey,
Yeah.
not obviously with the way that my stomach looks from underneath.
Right.
Just in terms of wearing it, it's also short. On top of everything else, it's ridiculously short.
What size is the shirt?
Robert Smith is 6'2", 210 pounds. He wore this jersey with football pads.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm 6'3", 250.
I know, but the football pads.
250.
Have you ever seen football players, professional football players, get into pads? It takes a minute because of how snug all that is. Like, they don't like getting in and out of pads because of how tight all of that is at the top. Professional football players.
They have people to put the pads on for them.
Yes, and it's an exercise. Like, the only reason I know this is not because of being in locker rooms when guys are dressed. It's because of the number of magazine stories I've written where the football player has to do a photo shoot and the football player doesn't want to put the pads on. Wants to do the photo shoot wearing just different clothes, not the pads, because it's a pain in the ass. It's one of the funny, dirty secrets of the NFL that no one likes getting dressed. Guillermo, put it on the poll. At Batard Show, did you know that the NFL's dirty secret is that the players don't like to get dressed on game day?
Who knew that was the dirty secret? So many secrets you can go to in the NFL, but that's the one.
Well, what do you think, though? What should be the ruling on this, Stugotz?
Man.
Because you are in agreement, right? And maybe we get a commissioner's ruling on this.
Right.
You are in agreement that you are I chose the Robert Smith early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was choosing the costumes go early because the discomforts, the eating of orange juice and mayonnaise or tripe or whatever the worst things on there are.
Right. Oftentimes the costumes are uncomfortable though. And this one you were actually skating by because the rule as it stands was you'd have to wear the Robert Smith jersey over football pads. We were going to let you skate on the football pads because you were going to argue that you were uncomfortable.
Right.
And now you're arguing you're uncomfortable sans pads.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it just happens, Dan. Like, I chose the FloJo nails very early because I thought that was easy.
No, but you were choosing a discomfort.
Oh.
You were choosing something. We all talked about how are you going to use the computer. I love what Mike says, the rules as they stand.
Right. Or as he makes them up as he goes along.
That's correct.
Actually, these were rules that were made up years ago. This one's been in debt for quite a while and in the bylaws. I'm not making it up. Roy, can you read that for me? It
Read
says
the bylaw.
shoulder pads and jersey.
Does it say authentic jersey, though?
Shoulder pads
Game worn
and jersey.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yep.
I'm trying to help Dan out here. Does it say game-worn, authentic jersey in the bylaws?
No, it did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I figured, where am I going to find a Robert Smith jersey for free? You know, there's a budget at stake here. And I realized, I know Robert Smith. He wore a football jersey.
Yeah.
It had pads underneath. It could work. He's a big dude.
It's also dirty on top of everything.
I mean, this is game worn.
It's authentic.
It's an authentic.
It's a little stinky,
He probably ran for 150 yards in this bad boy. Now, I am also surprised at how slim it is because Robert Smith played in the late 90s. It wasn't these svelte Nike uniforms.
No,
these
but
days.
what you do have to account for, a guy who is trying to avoid being tackled wants something so skin tight that guys can't just grab the jersey and bring him down by it.
I remember thinking to myself when Robert was playing how good he looked in a football uniform and pads because it was very tight on his body. Like, he looked ripped, Robert. So he did. He really did. He looked very good in a uniform.
See, there is actually a blood stain because
oh my God,
I used to play in the Metrodome. There's actually a blood stain on the bottom part of the jersey, and there's actually a concussion on my shoulder. I don't know if you can see that. It's an actual concussion.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
I didn't know Puma was ever an official NFL uniform provider.
These were the glory days of the NFL where every team was open to bidding. Where now Nike has the NFL contract, but back then, Wilson had the Dolphins, Puma had the Browns and the Vikings. It was an exciting time.
Yeah.
What's the ruling?
Man.
I mean,
who's making the ruling?
Order you a bigger size.
We could.
you have to wear pads now.
Now we gotta.
Let me price this out. Let me price it out.
You're still going to have a discomfort now where you were getting away without pads. So, I mean, we could do whatever. You're the boss, Applesauce. If you say this is uncomfortable,
I'm not
what
the
am I
boss.
supposed to
You're
do?
the one who makes the rules.
No. You said you want me to be cranky all day. Well, I don't want that because then that's a gritted death punishment for me.
No, you want me to be uncomfortable all day.
Which leads to you being cranky.
That's right.
There's one online for like $24 plus shipping.
Yeah, but our budget
it's an easy
budget
fix.
is tapped. We can't really afford that.
I have a compromise. That hockey jersey you're wearing right now fits you perfectly. You have to wear a full hockey jersey with pads and ice skates for an entire show.
No, that's
No, that's
a terrible idea.
Robert Smith
Why is that
didn't play
terrible
hockey
idea?
because it's Robert Smith from The Cure and Robert Smith from the Vikings.
Dan in ice skates the entire show.
Find me a Robert Smith that played in the NHL.
He walks around a lot during commercials. That'd be very funny.
I'm guessing there's been a Robert Smith that's played in the NFL.
In the NHL?
In the NHL, yes. And
Okay.
it's a common name, right?
Guillermo, put on the poll. Is the boss the guy who makes the rules? Because I ain't the boss, Applesauce, on rulemaking when it comes to this damn grid of death.
Unless you don't like the rule.
I believe that there's gray area here.
It was a Bobby Smith who played for the Canadians.
But
he went by Bobby.
Oh, his name was Robert.
There's no. He went by Bobby. Robert Smith from The Cure doesn't go by Bob.
It actually, in his Wikipedia, says Robert David Smith.
Well, you're the boss, Applesauce. What do you want to do?
You tell me.
I want to talk to you about the quotes from Jeter in the newspaper yesterday.
What Jeter do now? Wait, where do we leave this? You want me to buy you a jersey or what? I mean,
I'm going to have to buy this jersey from my own personal pocketbook.
Are we doing a Bobby Smith jersey then, or a Robert Smith jersey?
I mean, I've been strategizing with our makeup artist and wig team for weeks on this Robert Smith execution. I tried to buy pads. There were only children's pads available at Dick's Sporting Goods yesterday.
So instead you bought me a children's Robert Smith uniform.
No, this one's actually, I've been sitting
Mike,
on this
as
one
soon as
for
I
months.
held it up, it looked like a bib.
Yeah, but Chris and I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and the only pads that we were going to do the whole thing where we bought pads, you wore them with the tag still on them for one day, and then we were going to return them. That's an old Grid of Death classic, by the way. No. That move is routine. Sporting Goods stores across South Florida know about this move. Okay, but we both went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and the only pads that we could find were children's pads, and we said to each other, let's just not do pads. That's unfair to Dan. We were caring about you there, and we were going to forget all about this whole pad thing. And then you had to be uncomfortable with this jersey, sans pads.
Be less fat.
You
Pads.
saw me put it on.
Yeah, and what I thought to myself was, that's not so bad. I was like, he could deal with that. Or show. It's tight, yeah. But no one's really going to see the embarrassing part, which I saw.
The only thing I want to see, I mean, can you put the jersey back on, please?
Yeah, I'll put it on for you during the break. I put it on 4 times this morning.
Cool. Well, I'm actually presently wearing this jersey. I'm going to need someone to cut me out of it.
That's the thing. It's not the other. Didn't Robert
I look
Smith,
good in this.
Didn't Robert Smith also do the tied at the waist uniform thing?
Yeah, you look really good in the uniform.
But I mean,
I'm telling you, man.
What's happening, the funny part that Stugotz wants to see on the uniform is where it snugs down in the midsection. Like where
I want to see the Zeke Elliott, yes.
But what I'm telling you is that the jersey is an inverted pyramid. Like the bottom half is a preach. If you were to measure the bottom half of that jersey, Mike, are you wearing anything underneath that? Take that jersey off and tell me if how much different the measurement is at the bottom than it is at the top.
But most people's shoulders are broader than their hips.
No, but this is ridiculous is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is at the waist, it goes down to like a woman's size.
It is a very slender waist.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you get to the part where I look like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights because I can't get it down because it's so slim at the bottom.
Did you
has
try?
Nothing to do with the jersey, though. I mean, let's not blame that.
You haven't had a carb since 2015. Why can't you fit into this thing?
Did you try tugging on the blood stain? Because I feel like that's optimal tugging up right there on the blood stain.
Guillermo, what'd you think of the Jeter quotes?
I mean, that he's disappointed with the way the team's performing
and the attendance.
I mean, it was the most obvious thing in the world that was going to happen. I think he just thought that he was going to come and things were going to always work out the way they always work out. That's not how it happens. I mean, they hired 3 people yesterday to try to solve these issues. They hired like a new VP of ticket sales. They hired someone for marketing and community relations, and someone for customer engagement. They're trying to get people there, but it's hard to get people there when you do the same thing the last regime did, and the one before that, and the one before that.
It's so perfect, though, that the news would be they hire 3 people and they're not players.
That's another thing. They keep hiring all these people to solve the problem, and the fix is be good,
right.
get players, stop wasting money on the front office.
That is the fix, correct.
But they don't want to do that for some reason.
Well, baseball's funny this way, right? You saw, Mike, what is the Dodger payroll? You saw that the Dodgers and the Marlins have the same record, right?
Yeah, but people are celebrating that. The Dodgers are not doing good. Both teams are 10 games under 500.
I know, but
we shouldn't celebrate this.
The point is baseball, though. You could field anything and have the Dodgers record. You could field a AAA team and have the record the Marlins have.
Dodgers payroll this year is $177 million, just north of that.
Yeah, you can field a team and be 10 games under 500, but that's not the goal. The goal is to have a good team and to win. So this shouldn't be celebrated. Oh, look, we're as bad as the Dodgers.
That's not being celebrated. They're making fun of the Dodgers.
No, because there's people out there that are like, look, the Marlins have the same record they had last year at this time. It's like, yeah, but last year was a big disappointment. So we're just, oh, wow, look, we're as disappointing as we were last season.
Where do the Dodgers rank in payroll? 3rd?
Oh, I have to check
4th?
that out. Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
That's just baseball, though. It's why it's so bogus, this argument that Manfred and Jeter and baseball makes, where they're like, hey, just rebuild it. Don't worry about it. They're 3rd in payroll. Hey, just rebuild it. We've got a chance. And I've told you this before. If you took the Marlins AAA affiliate and put it on the field, you'd win 60 games because it's a game of failure. The worst pitchers have an ERA of 5, but they get a lot of outs.
Right. You could argue that's what's on the field right now.
But that's what it is.
Yes.
It is. Their
Yes.
AAA team is what's on the field. But what I'm saying is they could go and take their AAA team right now and put it on the field. Hell, man, they might be able to take like their best prospects. Not that they have many of those, but their best prospects. Just put them all on the field and win 60 games.
Well, we have prospects. We have outfielders that are doing well. We have a pitcher that's doing well, but they're not bringing them up for whatever reason. Like, I just don't understand what we're doing. I don't get what we're doing. Are we trying to rebuild? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
They're starting over.
Yeah,
they're starting over in the bargain bin.
By the way, the Pirates have a smaller payroll than the Marlins, and they're leading their division.
Mm-hmm. How about the Phillies? The Phillies.
Yep.
Philly's just 1 slot ahead of the Marlins in terms of payroll.
But it doesn't. They can hire as many people as they want, and they can play as much Hispanic music as they want, and do all that other crap. You're not going to get people there if the team is bad and you keep trading people away. But they haven't figured that out yet. Get players. Get players.
Or don't trade the ones you had away.
Exactly.
It's been a half a season. Let this guy do some work. Man.
We're letting him do work, but he cannot and should not be surprised by the lack
he's
of
not
interest.
I don't know that he's surprised, but Chris, we're reacting to quotes where he's disappointed by the record and attendance, and it's like, what did you think it was going to be? Like, you can't be disappointed if you didn't have some different expectations. This can't be disappointing. How is this disappointing? This is what everyone knew would be so.
I mean, it's what he's been saying the whole time, though. Like, doesn't matter who we have, we expect to win. Like, he's going to stick with that mantra, but it doesn't, mean that what we've done so far has been impressive with what we have.
The part that I don't get is,
wait, you're impressed with what they've done so far?
With the roster that they have? I mean, they have the same record as last year. Obviously, that's not a great record, but he's restarting and we have the same record.
But this isn't for participation points. Like, you should be playing to win. You should be trying to win the division and win championships and build something people are proud of in this city, and that's not what they've done so far.
Payroll? Because every team in the division, the Marlins, the Marlins and the Phillies the Braves and the Phillies have been the Marlins for the last 3 or 4 years.
Braves 21st in the league. For reference, again, the Marlins are 24th.
They can get better. Look, man, the Phillies were terrible, and all those young players have gotten good, and they've gotten good in the big leagues. The Braves were terrible, really terrible, and they've gotten good. That's what Jeter's trying to sell you. That can happen, but what can also happen is what happened to the Dodgers, like where you're just spending all your money and you get it wrong because baseball. Where I think Guillermo's right is like, what are we doing with Cameron Maybin? Like, what? Really? Like, what's that? Like, I know they can't get rid of the Prado contract, but what is that?
But
like,
you might as well play a young guy and let him get his at-bats.
Why? Cameron Maybin doesn't have a future in this league. You already he represents the single worst trade in the history of your team and maybe the sport that you got him back from Miguel Cabrera.
And they just moved Harlan Garcia to the bullpen, and he was one of their best starters. Like, it seems like they have these people, like, why is Tazawa still pitching? Honestly, just eat that money and have him go away. Every time he comes out, it's a disaster. Stop putting him out there.
I just don't understand tanking in baseball because, yes, you can hold up examples of teams that were really bad that got good, but baseball has 98 rounds in its draft. There are plenty of good teams that draft well, especially in the later rounds, that can keep their farm system going. It's not like the NBA. It's not like the NFL. You can be really good and draft really well.
I ultimately understand that they're doing this in the long game and they want this to get better, but at the same time, you can't expect a stadium full of people going to support this team. They just don't deserve it.
Well, it's galling. It is a pretty galling quote that he's sort of puzzled as to why people aren't coming out, especially the way that everything went down. Forget the on-field performance. There's so much more to this situation than just that. It's all the baggage attached to it. It's just more of the same.
You just have to have faith that 2 or 3 years from now, the farm system will be something like what the Yankees farm system was. And there's no way I know that's going to be true, but there's no way you don't know that it's going to happen. So let the guy build the farm system the way he sees fit.
I'll let him do that from my couch. I'm not going to go while they're still trying to figure this out.
I'm not telling you to go. He's just trying to get people to go. Like, look at it from his angle. Like, there's no one going. Like, what else is he going to say?
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
Where can we hurt Derek Jeter the most?
Why do you want to
right
hurt Derek Jeter?
In his wallet. Listen, Dan, I'm obviously very fair. I'm telling you the way things are.
Stugotz.
Hold on. I love this new character of Chris Cody as confused moral conscience in the back of the room. Why do you want to hurt Derek Jeter?
He hurt me. I'm going to hurt him back, and I'm going to hurt him in the pocketbook.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Guillermo, what do you think the crowd will be today for a Marlins game at noon? Noon on a Thursday.
Man, today we're going to see if they tell the truth about the attendance. Today we'll know if they're telling the truth. If it's more than like 4,500, they're lying. They're going to lie to you about the attendance today.
Yeah, and it's not quite summer break yet, so they can't inflate it with
there's no
summer
camps. There's no school trips. Today is going to be... Today's going to be
Well, what's the over-under? What should be the over-under on Marlins attendance today if you had to bet?
If they're telling the truth, 47-50.
Well, they've said that they've stopped lying about that stuff.
I know, but today they're going to lie.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, today they're going to lie.
Although Dr. K is going for the Marlins today.
So you're going to go watch them?
No.
Okay.
I think you're going way high, aren't you?
They haven't. I don't think they've gone under 5,000 yet this year.
But I know, but it's noon on a Thursday and it's crappy weather out. And whether you're in a dome or not, people don't want to like get in their cars when it's raining to go to a noon baseball. Who are they playing?
The Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Have a chance at a sweep today, Dan. But there's no chance that you're going to see, like, on the box score tomorrow, 879. Like, it's just not going to happen. They will lie about today's attendance.
I think they might be able to get fewer than 1,000 fans for a Major League Baseball game today. I think it's very possible that, in fact, Guillermo, I'm tempted to send you out there at noon just to count people. Like, I'm telling you, they're not going to get anybody today. It's just going to be old people. Oh, like not who's going to that game today? Dodger fans? Dodger fans to go see a team that has the same record as the Marlins.
Dodger fans aren't going, so.
They traveled well the last time they were here.
There's been Dodgers fans.
Yeah, there's a good contingent of Dodgers fans in Miami.
The last time you went to a Marlins game paid off for us until I ate you.
Speaking of Dodger fan, do you see what Jeter did to a poor young Dodger fan? Little kid came in, had a Dodger hat on, wanted Jeter to sign a baseball. Jeter said, take the hat off and I'll sign the baseball. How about you just sign the baseball? A little kid. Let him wear whatever hat he wants to wear and just sign the baseball, okay? You should be thankful the kid showed up to your crappy game anyway.
You're the only one taking that
It's
seriously.
ridiculous. Take your hat off, please.
When do you think people are going to stop asking Jeter for autographs? Do you think it'll happen?
Never, ever.
Isn't that the incentive to go?
Yeah, but that kid doesn't know who Derek Jeter is if he's like in kindergarten.
What did I walk in on? You guys arguing about underrated sounds.
Oh man, we've been arguing about this all week long. We have a sound bank that we've built up over the course of days because we're all championing our favorite underrated satisfying sounds. You know, there's like properly rated sounds.
Right.
Everyone knows bubble wrap. Everyone likes the sound of bubble wrap. We didn't want to cover that. No. It's overdone. In fact, kind of played out.
Yeah. Really?
Kind of played out bubble wrap. Yeah. I wanted deeply satisfying underrated sounds, and I wanted to put it out there to the audience, and I wanted help in deciding which one's the most deeply satisfying underrated sound. So I went back and forth on this. For the last 3 days, I was pretty sure I wanted the sound of a liter of soda after you just undo the top. Right. The little escape of gas that comes from that. The sharp... Just the sharp... Right. But then, last night I had an epiphany going through some old videos on my phone, the one time that I actually saw snow. And to me, the most satisfying sound is actually walking on fresh snow.
Wow, nice.
Would you like to hear what that sounds like?
Of course I would.
Cool. Give me a second to find it.
Yeah, I would love to hear what that sounds like.
I mean, that is a champion sound.
Wow.
It's a champion sound. It's a champion sensation. The sound takes you back to the sensation.
I don't know.
Wow, Allison, you don't like this
I don't like
sound?
it either. I don't
well,
like snow.
You know what? Like, let's get into other people's, but I want to get into Allison's because I don't understand Allison's at all. Allison, see, but you know what? Let's do it right now. Allison, come here and defend your sound because I don't even really understand what it is. This is Allison's sound, and for those who know what an underrated sound might be, this should bring back the audience to know exactly what this is.
Oh.
Got no idea what that is.
Let me hear that again.
What is that? I know what that is.
What is this?
I don't know what it is.
Emptying the trash on the computer.
Oh, yeah. Great sound. Great sound. Great sound. Not good sound. Great sound. Yes.
Great sound. Thank you.
That's a good sound.
Stugotz, what are some of your favorite sounds?
I like the swinging of a golf club. Like, to me, that is... Let me hear it. Oh, let me hear it again. Yeah. Like, that is... I don't know how you guys feel about that, because I love that.
It only sounds like that when you hit it right, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roy was saying that the drive sound is better than that sound. We have that as well.
Let me hear that. Oh. Oh, yep. He's right.
I disagree. Yes. I go Iron Shot.
Really?
The other one's better.
All right, so hold on.
Iron Shot for me. Iron Shot
All right, hold on.
Is the way to go.
Let's hear the wood shot first, okay, the driver shot. Man, that's good. And then let's hear the iron shot.
More layers.
Not even close.
Not even close.
It sounds like the guy, whoever took the swing with the wood there, sounds like he had he connected better. It was a better shot. It does. It sounds better. I think that sound. Yes. Yeah. That's the sound.
What's another sound you like?
Another sound that I like: the pouring of a beer. Do we have that? Like the pouring of a beer. I love that sound. Like a tap.
So we were torn between pouring of a beer or pouring of soda, and we went with pouring of soda as a better sound.
Okay. It's the same thing. It's the same exactly. It's the same thing.
It's the same exact sound.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
You don't think there's a little bit more fizz in the soda?
I hear the fizz at the end there, but it's technically the same.
Because there's more ice, and the ice gives more fizz.
Yeah. This sound isn't even one of mine. This is going to be tough to beat this sound right here. This is a great sound.
This sound?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good
it's
sound.
Fantastic.
It's a good sound.
Yeah, very good sound.
Mike, do you happen to have, that's a great sound. Do you happen to have the sound of maybe like a steak landing on the grill when you're cooking?
Sounds like rain to me.
Yeah. You get a little bit of the cracks, which is another one of my favorite sound, which is a fire cracking.
Yeah.
But that's a properly rated sound. Everyone likes that sound. I don't think it's an underrated sound. Of all your sounds, I think I'm going soda being poured into a glass.
Yeah.
I think that might be clubhouse leader.
Yeah.
This was a really good sound that Allison suggested. I think everyone knows this sound.
Morse code.
No, it's the texting on an iPhone.
Oh.
But is it underrated? Because I feel like that's a pretty good sound people like.
This is deeply satisfying to me.
It depends.
The end is when the text goes through and you hear that little thing at the end. I think that's
it depends the pace of the clicks. If it's too fast, it's not a good sound because it's like angry.
Roy had a weird one. Yeah. Roy had a very weird one, and I can't even tell. Maybe we didn't get the proper sound to support it, but this was the sound. This is in no way satisfying.
At all.
You know what it is?
No.
Well, I'm starting to feel a little bit better now.
Sharpening a knife?
Sounds like chains like on a swing.
It's actually a slinky. Oh. Roy, defend your sound.
Oh, wow.
I just think that slinkies are great. It's a great toy, and it just sounds good.
Underrated toy, but not an underrated sound.
No, not
well, if you say so.
Ooh, the swish, like when you like.
Ooh, I'm happy that you mentioned that.
The swish on a basketball court.
Yeah, but it's not just on a basketball court. It has to be in a gymnasium. Has to be because you get the echo. It has to be this.
Oh, wow.
That's the best swish you can get.
Yes.
Wow.
Ooh, that might be the new clubhouse leader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Top 3.
Can we do mine now?
Yeah, what's yours?
All right. I have 3 nominations. The first one, buttering of toast.
Wow. What?
Ooh, no.
It's a great sound. It's a great sound.
It sounds like torture.
Slightly burnt, little black edges on it.
No.
Right.
Oh, come on, let me hear it again.
No,
one more time.
No, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
No, I'd like to hear it one more time. I think it is.
It makes me deeply uncomfortable. I don't like that.
I love it. I could listen to it all day.
Pretty quality sound there. Yeah,
It's just
I'm with
a
you.
youth thing.
Yeah.
My number 2 sound is a gas filling a car up, but the end. That's just the regular one.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty
The
good.
end is good.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Pretty
man.
good. Pretty good.
One more time. Yeah, that's
Never really thought about it, but now that I'm hearing about it and thinking about it, yeah.
My last one is also a car one. It is a window, electronic window getting rolled up and down.
no.
Come on.
These are 3.
See, you guys are all going. These are all underrated. You had never even thought about these.
The gas one? Which one did you like?
Gas one was the only one they're worth talking about.
A full tank of gas, having that in your car is an underrated pleasure in life.
So
when
good.
you get in your car, as soon as it's full, it's like I can go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Which is so great.
And occasionally you can hear it swirl around in the tank as you pull away, or you hit a speed bump. You hear a little bit of that swirling in the gas tank. That's an underrated sound.
Sometimes I put in too much and I smell the gas in my car and I say too much of a good thing.
One that I liked was the shuffling of cards.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
definitely
a good
sound. Good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nominee for sure.
Shuffling of cards.
Solid one.
So who wins?
Wait, you haven't done my sounds yet.
What's your sound?
Well, you did my pouring. That one.
Okay.
Then I did opening of a can.
Okay. I feel like
Pretty good.
I feel like that's properly rated, though. That's not an underrated sound. That is a properly rated sound.
I agree with that.
All right, and what else you got?
And then I have one more. Just play it. Just play it. People know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
That is the sign of a job well done.
I mean, we are talking about satisfying sounds.
But you know, the thing is it could also be a sad sound, because sometimes when I'm done going to the bathroom, I'm sad. I'm like, this experience
Back out
is
to
over.
the real world.
Yeah, once the flush happens, it's like, all right, time to go back into my sad existence.
I have absolutely spent an extra half hour in the bathroom that was unnecessary. Because on the other side of the door was my kids.
Buttering toast, clubhouse leader.
Don Le Batard. Would you mind if the new owners of the Marlins knocked down that statue in center field?
It's obviously an eyesore, but it's gotten to the point that it's, our eyesore.
Really? You guys have gotten there.
It's something that we all laugh at together. It's so bad that it's become good.
You wouldn't go to New York and take away the apple, Dan. Come on.
Stugotz. Would you guys look at a lot of other things and describe it that way? It's something that I mock, but it's something that is in the middle of my city, so therefore I'm proud of it and don't want it removed.
Pitbull.
Okay, you win.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
So we've talked before about believing that the goal hockey horn is the best sound in sports, Stugotz, but is it better than hitting a jump shot on a chain link net as a sound?
Such a great sound.
You're a golfer. What about a golf ball falling into the hole?
Falling into the cup is a golf sound. I should have thought of it. I did not. We had the driver swing. We had the iron swing. Yes, but the ball falling into the hole is probably the best of the golf sounds.
What would you say? What would you say right now is the clubhouse leader? Speaking of golf, among the sounds, underrated, pleasurable sounds. I think Mike overstates it when he calls any of these things deeply pleasurable. I think they're moderately pleasurable.
Deeply satisfying.
Deeply satisfying.
Should I play Walking on the Snow again?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, all right, because that one's incredibly satisfying.
Pretty good.
I don't like it.
It takes me back.
I feel like someone's about to fall.
There.
See, I hate the cold. It's one of the reasons I live in Miami, and it reminds me of being near the Arctic Circle for the Lillehammer Olympics and falling in the snow a lot because I didn't know how to walk in the snow. And eating luke fish for breakfast every morning.
Did you buy the proper clothing when you went to cover those games? There's no way. Like, you got there, then you realized it was cold, and then you had to scramble, right?
No, that I don't know. Nanook from the north. Do you know that expression? Because Boog has called me it for 20 years. I dramatically overwear clothes. Like I am wearing, I've got actual sophisticated fire that gets put around my body, like in packets, fire in packets to keep me warm. I look ridiculous. I look like the Michelin Man as well. Like I just layer after layer.
I went to Chicago last December, and with like the wind chill and being on the lake, it felt like -12, and I was dressed for like -70. And I'd go inside buildings, and I didn't have anything to do with all the things that I was wearing because I had to take them off because I was covered in sweat with how many layers I was wearing. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the combination I was in Lillehammer. Hot and cold. Sweaty and cold.
Such a nice sound. I don't know if it's nicer than, the second you put a steak on the grill and it just sizzles. I don't know if that sound in my life is nicer. The golf sound is nicer than the steak sound. Look at that. How good is that? Dude?
I think the best so far, man. It is the chain link swish on a public basketball court.
Good.
the sound of success.
It's not as good as a swish in an empty gym.
Yeah, that's much better.
Oh, that's better. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm
It's
sorry.
better.
I take it back, and
It's
I
better.
apologize. I
Yeah.
apologize publicly for my error in judgment.
Metal nets have to be right up there with like ice skates as the most dangerous things that people do to play sports, right? Because you know that the people that are buying those metal nets are largely kids. And if they have a hoop that they lower, it's like at 7 feet tall, and they're just dunking on them. And you know that fingers are getting stuck in those nets.
In track and field, the gun they shoot off, that's kind of dangerous, no?
It's not an actual gun.
I don't think
It's a starter
It's not an
pistol. It doesn't
actual-
shoot anything out.
I know it doesn't actually shoot a bullet. Nothing comes out of it?
No.
Just the sound.
Sound, yeah.
You know what sound is terrifying? When the Hurricanes score.
They
It always
shot a
catches
bullet
me by
and it-
surprise. That cannon, we
Scares
live in
me.
different times.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking something's about to go down whenever I hear that. I always have to program myself. Now that the Canes are good, I'll get used to it.
They do that in a lot of like football games, college football games now. A lot of them have cannons, and I'm always wondering, what if some prankster puts a cannonball in there? What are we going to do? Because sometimes I'm lined up directly with the cannon, and it's really loud, and then I'm like, if someone wants to do something nefarious here, I could be in trouble.
Guillermo,
I'll just leave.
you just have this habit of seeing the fear and the danger in everything. You were talking during the break about the chain link fence at the playground. You were talking about it as if it was
It's
a
a
knife,
net,
a knife wielding murderer.
It essentially is. For children jumping up, you go and you hang on the thing and then you slip and, oh, my finger's gone. You know what? I'm going to look it up. I know that there's a professional athlete that lost a finger doing that.
I think Jameis Winston that's why his finger's all jacked up.
There you go.
He ate his finger.
That is one of the fingers he ate.
And also Gerald Green. Gerald Green. That's how he
Gerald
lost
Green has
the
a
tip of
nub
his
on
finger.
one of his fingers.
That's how he lost the
correct.
tip of his finger from this.
How many people have to lose their fingers, Dan, before we realize this is a reckless toy?
I don't think it
Good
was
point.
Gerald Green. I don't think it was a chain link net.
You think it was that?
Yes.
Really? I don't think so.
I think it was a dunk. I think he hurt himself on a dunk on a regulation net.
Man, so satisfying.
Did you guys see Gerald Green the other day when he doesn't braid up the hair?
No, but his braids are super cool because it's a Rockets logo.
But his hair has to be the biggest in sports when he's not doing it. The biggest. Like, I saw him doing an interview the other day, and it filled up the screen. Like, it was you never see a guy's face fill up the screen. And this guy's face filled up the screen because the head of hair that he has. I don't want that joke Mike just said in your ear. I don't want it. I don't want it. Go ahead.
Your face does.
There it is.
Is that the one you didn't want?
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious one in the world, yes.
Yeah, Gerald Green, it does look like he injured his finger on a chain-linked basket.
Really?
Yeah, when he
Wow.
was a kid, yeah.
Good call, Guillermo.
Yeah. Looks like that.
Menace. It's a menace. I don't know why parents buy them for kids. Kids are like, oh, yeah, I really want it, Mom, Dad, I really want it. And parents just can't say no to kids. Kids need to be told no nowadays, Dan, because parents are just giving kids everything they want, and they're learning nothing in life. There's no lessons. There's no consequences. You just keep giving these kids everything, and they turn into monsters. Monsters that don't face adversity. No. Do you want this chain thing? No, it's dangerous. Would you put a thing of knives because it looks cool at the bottom of a basketball hoop? No, that's dangerous. Would you put a barbed wire thing if that was de moda? No, you wouldn't do that. That's dangerous. You shouldn't be putting chains there where people can get their fingers caught. Why do you people think I'm crazy?
I want to send you out to the Marlins game today to count fans.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Let's do it. How much is Marlins? You just show up, right?
Yeah, $3 maybe.
You just show up.
Just walk in.
You just walk in.
You could leave here at 11:50. You'll be at the ballpark at 12:10. You could tell us how many fans are there.
All right, but if I do this, I'm parking at someone's house because I'm not giving them money for parking.
We got to give you $5, no blocky.
I love parking at people's houses, and I feel like I'm doing something good for the community when I do that, too. Like I'm supporting a local business, technically. Not technically, because they don't report any of that money.
You just want me to pay the fine and how much? I read the internet wrong.
What happened?
Gerald Green, his finger, him and his brother, when they were 11 years old, they were having a jumping contest, and Gerald had his mom's wedding ring on, and it got caught in a nail in the door, and they had to take it off. And they had to take off part of his finger.
Oh my God!
$10.
Well, wait a minute. How did you read
Not remotely
chain
close.
link fence? Like how How is that you reading
it's a
the
mystery
internet
even
wrong?
to me at this point. I don't know how I did it.
But imagine if he had gotten that wedding ring caught in a chain basketball net.
Hold on.
A lot
I think
worse.
there is something with a chain basketball net. I'm trying to find out. I think there's more to the story. But $10. Oh, I only have 5. Oh, left the 5 ski at home. Sorry. Venmo?
I would like an explanation.
So would I.
For how you came zealously and with conviction to the microphone to explain that Gerald Green lost a finger in a chain link fence. And then you did a little more research and it turns out, no, it's a wedding ring nailed to a wall.
Why do you keep saying chain link fence?
I don't know. It's a mystery to me as well.
Guys, I have confirmed that Jameis Winston suffered a serious finger injury by getting his finger caught in a net, trying to locate the identity of whether it's a nylon or a chain.
It's a lobster net.
Excellent, man.
Well done. That joke would have been so hot 4 years ago.
Right? It would have been great. It would have been smoking. That
Jimmy
joke.
Fallon leads his monologue with it.
We should do that one day. We should do a monologue. Just open the show with a monologue.
We used to do that. We used to do that, and it was the beginning of the end for a certain era of our show.
Yes.
That's true, actually. Also true is Chris Cody's contention that Jameis Winston ate his finger, ate his crooked finger. Let's circle back around here.
The what?
The Gerald Green mistake you made.
What do you mean? Chain link fence?
I don't think you're in a position to make fun of that right now.
Deflecting.
You're not in a position of strength coming. Hey, I will agree that I keep saying chain link fence when I mean chain link net, but at least there is such a thing as a chain link fence,
right,
as opposed to what you did, which is you just totally invented a story about Gerald Green that had nothing to do with how he lost his finger. Nothing.
I don't know what happened, man. Listen, what I did was I Googled Gerald Green finger chain link basketball net. And what came back at me is something on Reddit talking about how he lost his finger. I saw the word chain net right around there, and I thought that was the entire story. It wasn't. It was a makeshift basket in his parents' house, and that's how the finger came off.
The listeners are finding me because they're saying that Jameis Winston stole crab, not lobster.
You know what? Not a fine. I enjoyed the joke.
Yay.
It was all right.
All right.
Good try. Good effort. Good local hour.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't think anyone was good this segment, by the way.
No one
Buttery
is.
toast.
I was
Buttery
fine.
toast.
The only thing that I
Yes, they
regret
were.
about this hour is the buttered toast.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is a terrible sound.
Yeah,
It leaves me uneasy.
The starter pistol.
And I'm generally mad at you.
So basically, it's all Chris Cody.
Also, now I cannot stop picturing the Miami Hurricanes firing off an actual cannonball.
that's
when they
what's
score a
scary, man.
touchdown.
It's